of the alcohol. La 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all. La 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every mother must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody. Welcome once again to Nerds with Alcohol.
And I'm Chris.
I'm Russ. And this is episode 195. 195. Back in our virtual nerd basements, everybody. Chris?
Yeah.
Great to be here. How's your week?
So far, so good. It was pretty good. Today is my birthday.
It is, Chris. It is his
the
50th
big 50.
birthday, everybody. The big 50. Welcome to the half-century club.
Thank you.
Sir.
It sure beats the alternative. The way I look at it is I'm at the top of the hill. I'm not over the hill. I'm at the top of the hill waving at everybody down below.
Exactly. I still have a number of years yet before that is a problem. That particular age, I am 46, so I have a few more.
They go
years.
quick, dude.
So, but congrats, right? They do, dude. I blinked and I got to 46. I have no idea how this fucking happened. So, what are you gonna do? But I'm glad that you made it. You know, particularly it's been a rough. 2020 has been a rough year, and I've lost friends, and we've all lost people, and things have been shitty as all get out. But the fact that you made it is a good thing, man. You know, thank the gods. So, what did you do for your birthday?
Well, I took the day off of work, and I'm doing this now. Basically, Renee and I both took the day off, so we got to hang out together. We're having another little mini midweek weekend. So we had the weekend, then we both worked yesterday, and we both have today and tomorrow off. So, and then we'll work for 2 days and then have another weekend. So it's going to be a kind of a nice light week. Although I do have I got a change on Thursday night that could go late, but I get to do that from home, so that's not too big a deal. But yeah, other than that,
right on.
we went out to Royal Oak Brewing Company this afternoon. Had lunch. Because I'm in the Mug Club, I get basically a meal on my birthday. If you go in on your birthday itself, you get a meal and you drink for free. So had a few beers.
Oh, that's nice.
Had a really good Nashville hot chicken sandwich. They make a fantastic one there. And then we did that. Went and looked for some liqueur to do a shot tonight, which I got my birthday shot sitting here. And then came home and kind of chilled out. I opened up one of the gifts from Renee that I will be getting to later because it was a beautiful piece of alcohol. She also got me a set of Age of Sigmar figures for Warhammer. That I really wanted, the Clovis Concord, which goes along with my Slaves to Darkness army. So they're really kind of cool. They're all like Raven themed and stuff, which I think is really cool. I love Ravens. So
right.
I love the Corvids. So
right.
But yeah.
You ever get the chance? If you ever get the chance, you need to go to the Raven Cafe.
Been there. Love it. The place is awesome.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, very
pretty cool.
I'm a big
cool
Edgar Allan Poe fan too. So,
right.
But other than that, Sunday we did the Detroit Curling Club golf outing, which I ran, and it was very successful. It was actually one of our biggest turnouts that I've ever seen. We actually had 48 people come out for it.
Wow.
So we played at Sylvan Glen over in Troy. It's a public course owned by the city, actually. and it's 18 holes right at Rochester Road and Square Lake Road, and they got Camp Ticonderoga as a restaurant there that's actually pretty good. So it was a good time. Beautiful weather, absolutely beautiful weather.
Oh yeah, we had a great weekend.
It rained overnight, but only overnight on Sunday, Saturday to Sunday. So the course was a little damp, and there were some puddles in places, but overall it was in great shape. And like I said, good times. I didn't win anything, but we played. We had a good time playing. So.
Well, excellent. Yeah.
So, how about you?
I don't sport, so golf, yuck. No, it was it's been a week, work is work. We're busting ass on making these floats and stuff. We're getting a little nervous because we haven't seen the art for the next 2 floats, and it is halfway through September. And so we have essentially 2.5, roughly give or take 2.5 months to make everything. My guess is October. If I'm not working 10 to 12-hour days every day, I'll be surprised. So, so just so you know, during the month of October, our shows may either start a little late. I'm hoping to get out of, if I leave work, I maybe on Tuesdays, I might just have to tell the guys, I got a thing at 8 o'clock. So, but which means even if I leave at 7, I might cut it a little close. Not that I work that far from home. It's just, getting home and getting settled and whatnot.
Making sure you don't sound like
but anyway, but we'll jump through that. We'll jump through that hoop when we get to it. It's just, but we're moving along and being productive and stuff like that. Stella got, we bought some paint, and Stella got her office/room in the house painted and got her bookshelves all squared away and a lot of her books put up. She has a lot more, but that's a nice kind of thing to kind of work towards her having her space in the house and everything. So that was great. I found out today that a friend of mine, my friend Liam, is going to be in town. He was looking for a place to crash, try and save some money. Liam is a performer at the Renaissance Festival in the Renaissance Festival circuit. Liam Selvey, he does the show, the Harmless Danger Juggling Show. And he's going to be performing on the weekend of October 2nd or October 3rd and 4th through at Frankenmuth is having like a mini Renaissance Festival, very well socially distanced, and you got to buy tickets and stuff. And they're bringing in some Ren Fair performers to previously, and they're setting up a big tent. And like I said, like a mini Ren Fair performance kind of thing that weekend. So he asked if he could come and crash in the basement. I'm like, yeah, he's been really great. Everybody's been really great about socially, protecting ourselves and everything. So I'm not that worried. But it's going to be nice to have him here because he crashed here for a couple of years during festival season, and it's nice to have him here. So I found that out today, and it's just been business as usual for the most part. So we got a lot of like quick hits and a lot of like things went on over the weekend. The second DC Fandom happened. So I watched a lot of that. I've got a bunch of videos. Yeah, I've got a bunch of videos still kind of sitting on my my desktop here in my browser that actually you can't get to now because they closed off the schedule. But if you still have them open, you can still watch them.
I'm surprised they didn't just like put all that on YouTube.
I think a lot of this stuff is new, and so they probably will be putting it on YouTube soon. But they reran some of the stuff from the original one, but they actually brought in a bunch of really cool stuff. There was like a cast reunion for the Legion of Superheroes cartoon that was back from like 04 and 05 and 06 or something like that. So they had a cast reunion for that. It was pretty cool. And, they didn't really reveal a whole lot of like big deal, like shocking, big deal news. It was more just kind of follow up stuff. It was more, there were, like they had a cast Zoom meeting with the cast from Stargirl, and they had one with the cast of the Doom Patrol, and so there was some like cool stuff that way, but there really wasn't a whole lot of like big deal news, you know, that kind of thing, or revealing like trailers and stuff like that. But it was still pretty cool. So, but I suppose we should just kind of get into this and move along. So, man, what are you drinking?
I am drinking
tonight?
something most excellent. This was a gift from Renee for my birthday. It is absolutely amazing. I will say that. I'll hold it up in my glass here. So there's what it looks like in the glass with ice. Because I like my whiskey with ice.
You're
but it is this Tullamore Dew 15-year small batch. Trilogy small batch. It is absolutely fantastic. It comes in this beautiful box.
This is one of those disadvantages to doing this show mobily, man, that I don't get to have some of that.
Yeah, well, you never know. We might still have some. I mean, this is something I'm going to savor, so...
You drink that whole bottle in the next couple of days.
Well, no, it's not in the next couple days, but I mean, like, there's no telling when the next time you'll come over is. But so you open it up and you take the bottle out, and inside are like the tasting notes and stuff. And so I figured I'd just read those. The nose is rich spice and nutty oakiness interlaced with a hint of tropical fruit. I didn't get a lot of tropical fruit. I did get the spiciness, though. That definitely has a very spicy aroma. The taste, a rich and complex full-bodied taste with fruit, nuts, and spice, and a lingering creamy fudge flavor, which I'm not really getting that. Let me take another sip here. Okay, yeah, I see the fudge flavor at the end. I wasn't picking it up as that originally. There's a lot of vanilla.
Really, like a chocolate fudge.
Yeah, it's got like a chocolatey...
Wow.
It's very full-bodied. The water kind of, the ice as it melts, opens it up and it changes the flavor a little, but it also, it does water it down a little, so it does get a little thinner, but, and then the finish is long, intensely rich and satisfying, and it lingers. That sip I just took, I still taste it right now. It is absolutely fantastic. This is an amazing product. The only thing I can say that I've had that I truly, truly liked more is the 18-year Jameson. But this is a very close second. This is absolutely fantastic. If you ever have the chance to try 15-year-old Tullamore Dew, you should definitely do so.
I have Tully's. I've got a soft spot for. That was the first kind of whiskeys that I ever kind of was like really introduced to when I was like in my early days of Ren Fair, when some of my friends would bring it in like flasks and they'd like pass it to me when I really wasn't supposed to be drinking, you know, and stuff. And now here, Russ, have a little, and I'm like, whoa, hey,
yeah, well,
wow, I kind of like this. And it was back in the day where you couldn't get Tullamore Dew here in the States.
Well, I love that, you know, it comes, they still make it in the crocks and everything. You can still buy it in the Tullamore Dew crock. I've never bought one of those. I always just buy it in the bottles, but I kind of want one of those crocks just to have it. But yeah, the Tullamore Dew, when my mom passed away a few years ago, one of our friends showed up, and she's a big whiskey drinker, particularly Tullamore Dew, and she actually brought a flask and was passing it to me all night long, going, "Here, you looks like you need some of this." And she was giving me Tullamore Dew all night long. So,
hey, it's, you know, you got a real attach that to a real memory, and that's right.
Yeah, it's I like Tullamore Dew. It's good stuff. Yeah, remember when we used to be able to pass a bottle of flask around a campfire?
I do remember that. I mean, it's kind of hazy.
I remember it like it was last year.
There were some times, man, around that campfire at the Jellystone,
KOA.
Which is now the KOA. There were some nights. I still remember when one of the guys bought somebody bought us a $150 bottle of like Jameson Gold Special Reserve, holy shit, like, and then we passed around this. I've talked about it on the show. We passed for the security team because we helped him out a lot and everything, and he was like, hey, this is for the whole team. And I was like, what the fuck? And we're drinking it, and it was so smooth and so good, and I felt bad that we were just passing this bottle around when we should have been like savoring it in a fucking shot glass, in a rocks glass, and just like, oh my god, it's so good.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I'm drinking. There aren't enough stars or bottle caps for this, so we're just gonna say this is absolutely amazing. Thank you, Renee. You are amazing.
I am also. She is amazing. You're amazing. We all think you're amazing. I'm doing a 2 drinks. So this is a shot for you. This is actually. I bought this thinking it was more of a moonshine. This is
Great American apple pie.
Great America. It's an apple pie. It's actually more of a malt drink. It's just, but it is 14%. It's 28 proof. It's 14%. So it's on the high side. It's not like drinking a cider. It's a liqueur, but it's not. It's less of a shooting kind of drink. But it smells. This is their apple pie. They've got a bunch of different like flavors, and it's reasonably priced. This was only $6 for this mason jar. Not too bad. I'm going to take a little. I'm going to shoot here. This is to your health,
I'll
my brother.
I got my shot here. It's a peanut butter cup.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Happy 50th birthday. Thank the gods you made it. Hopefully I'll get
thank you
too.
Sláinte.
So, to your health. Sláinte. Okay, this is pretty good.
Yeah, one of my buddies drinks that stuff.
It's really sweet. It's really sweet. It's almost got almost like I'd say an apple. Well, it's got like a spicy. It's an apple pie, so it's supposed to be a spiced apple. It tastes almost like a kind of a apple candy, a little bit, but in a good way. So it's got some, it's got that liquor, alcohol kind of bite, but it's not. It doesn't like smack you in the head like some relatively inexpensive liquors can do. So I'm actually okay with this. It's pretty good. And then I'm also drinking a cider tonight. I stopped at the store and I think I've drank this before. I'm pretty sure. It's from Farmhouse Cider Company. It's their brunch cider, but it's in a 12-ounce can instead of a 16-ounce can. And it's their cinnamon and maple. And I gotta say, I think they might have adjusted the formula because it is delightful, but it's a little sweeter. The cinnamon and maple flavors are coming coming forward a little bit more. It's a touch of maple and toasty cinnamon blended with 100% Michigan apples. Brunch, like Grandma's apple pie, is always a good idea any time of day, any time of year. Fermented and packaged in Hudsonville, Michigan. This is a Farmhouse Cider is out of Michigan, so this is a Michigan-made product. It's pretty solid. I'd have to say it's better than the ones I've had.
Okay, cool. I'll have to look for that because I'd like to try that one.
Oh yeah, it's really nice. In fact, I think these two flavors are pairing together very well. So
I can see that because then you're getting it's all apple. It's all apple pie type of
right. It's sweet apple stuff. Yeah. So and then with the cinnamon and the apple pie stuff, right? Exactly. So, but yeah, totally. At 6.7% alcohol by volume too. Little scotch higher than your average cider, but actually, it's in the high end for like a cider because most of the time they hit about 6.5% at the top end, and this is 6.7. So. Pretty solid.
That's by Vanderbilt?
By Farmhouse Cider Company. Farmhouse, spelled Haus. Farmhouse.
Where is that from?
They are out of Hudsonville. Right. Hudsonville, Michigan. Fermented and packaged in Hudsonville. They've got a line. They've got like three or four different flavors. But like I said, most of the time I see it in a 16-ounce can, and this is a 12-ounce. This is a really good cider. Really good. And it only came in a 4-pack, so. Sir, what else? We should kind of move along and into the fun stuff. You want to start, or shall I? I got a bunch of quick hits.
The big thing that came out today or yesterday, the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer. Huge.
Like,
it doesn't give away a lot, though.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. It really doesn't give away anything with the story. It just shows. It shows Baby Yoda has a clue now.
Yeah. There's a point where he kind of gets the clue. And closes his little.
Yeah, you see Mando like hit a thing on his wrist, and you see all of his little rockets light up, and you see Baby Yoda look over, or the child look over and go, and reach over the front, click the thing, and drop back in as his little carrier, his little stroller closes up.
Yeah. It looks. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I think it's going to be a really fantastic season.
Yeah, they're showing how he has to go and try and find the Jedi.
Yes. Yeah, how he's got to go and look for them now, since as far as he knows, they're all dead. I mean, the only one at that point, there was Luke. Mm-hmm. So. Unless I think he's starting to
5 years after, I think he would have been starting to train.
Starting to train. Yeah. So, you're right, though. It did not reveal much.
It didn't show Giancarlo Esposito at all that I remember. They showed the TIE fighters, but they didn't really show him.
Right. I did see a quick hit saying that Giancarlo Esposito has hinted that his villain may not be as bad as everybody thinks it's going to be. Like he's going to be like he may not be this like horrible villain that everybody hates. So let me see if I can find it real quick. But
they did give us a little picture of someone though in the background. And I'm looking for her name because I don't remember who it was now. And I had it here, I thought. But she's a former wrestler, I guess.
Yeah, that was making some news too. Is that the fact that she is a former wrestler is going to be. I can't remember what her name was, but. They're saying some pretty good, like that she is a character and that she's going to be. They're asking, is she going to be a Jedi?
They're saying that she's Sabine Wren, who is a former Mandalorian from Clone Wars and Rebels. Who that's their guess. That hasn't been confirmed, but that's who everyone seems to think she is. And it's Sasha Banks is playing her.
Yeah, Sasha Banks.
So she's going to come in along with Ahsoka Tano. So that'll be somebody else from those. Plus, they're also saying Bo-Katan is going to come in this season, supposedly, and that it's going to be Katie Sackhoff that's going to play her, just like she did the voice for her in the show, in the cartoons, or the animated shows.
I'm loving that there's that they are doing a lot of that kind of crossover kind of thing. That the voiceover actors are going to be able to potentially play some of the roles that they played. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
But I'm excited. I am super excited about this. I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course. One of the biggest. Star Wars geeks I know. It's you. So, of course I think, and I'm excited too. I mean, one of my friends that actually said recently, he goes, Star Wars failed me one too many times. I think I gotta go all in on the Star Trek. And I just kind of was like, Star Wars will always have a very soft, loving place in my heart. I love Star Wars. I always have. But, and I think we've discussed this before, if I had to make a choice, I'd have to say I'm a Star Trek guy first, And It pains me to say that sometimes because I do truly love Star Wars.
Oh, that's one of the other things. Sabine Wren,
You know.
and I think another reason why they think that's who she is because Sabine Wren at one point also wielded the Darksaber.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, awesome. You know, there's more and more hints and more things to look forward to and stuff. So cool.
But that's April.
Because like I said, I got a
October 30th. So we got a month and a half until that comes out, just before Halloween. So
I don't know how long I can wait. It's gonna be a tough one to wait on.
One of the other things that came out this week was the Xbox Series X and Series S prices and some of the pre-order information. Although they said the article I read said that there was pre-order information, but I didn't see any dates. So, but what they did talk about was the price points for the X and the S, and they're saying the X, which is going to be disc driven, it'll have a disc port and all that. That one's going to probably be around $500 US. And the S, which is an all-digital version with a lot of stripped-down hardware, including only a 512 gigabyte hard drive, is going to be, they believe, $300. So
that's strikingly inexpensive for a next generation console. I mean, that's holy shit.
Yeah,
inexpensive because that's less expensive than the current PS4, particularly the Pro. I mean, I think even the regular one still runs at $299 stripped down.
Now the thing is that at 512 gigs, you're going to need additional hardware. You're going to need additional storage space. So you're going to have to get an external drive, which you have to factor into the price. But one of the big things that's come out about the new Xbox Series, both the X and the S, Xbox is actually developing its own hard drive with Seagate right now. The Xbox Series SSD, Seagate SSD or something like that. That is the only hard drive that's going to work with the new consoles. They are going proprietary. They're pulling an Apple. And they're going to go proprietary. And the, I guess the cost that I'm seeing is they're guessing. They don't have a cost for it yet. Like I said, it's still under development. But they're saying the cost is going to be $200 for that, which is going to take it from $299 up to $499 and make it basically the same price as the X to get the same storage space as the X.
You might as well just buy the X at that point. So now, the rumors that I heard, the speculation and rumors that I heard is that once they revealed the price of the Xbox, that the PlayStation, that Sony had to go and reevaluate what they were going to charge for the PlayStation 5. No, they had originally the speculation was that they would be running at $400 and $500 a piece because we'll have two different, just like the Xbox, you'll have two different versions. You'll have one with a disk drive and one without. Now, the main difference between the two is the disk drive. They're going to have the same size hard drive space, which is just short of a terabyte. I believe it's something like 880
basically,
gigabytes.
It's going to be a terabyte with the operating system running on top of it. So you're going to lose the space for the operating system.
Yeah, exactly. So you lose that space. Now, what they talk about, though, too, is the PlayStation won't have any kind of proprietary software or proprietary hardware for an external hard drive. You'll be able to take any kind of external that you want to plug in and you can use it. So that way, at the very least, you don't have to immediately spend $200 on another hard drive, particularly if you're running off the disks, which I will be. Now, I also came up with another article here that apparently, from about 14 hours ago, PS5 cost may have been leaked by a Spanish retailer ahead of the PS5 event. I heard that we got a PS5 event coming up, possibly, I think maybe tomorrow or later this week, where they're going to probably be, the speculation is they'll be talking price.
Now that Xbox has come out with theirs, they're going to have to.
Right. They're going to have to. Multiple images have surfaced from a major Spanish retailer that may have revealed the PS5 price. Photos from El Corte Inglés appeared overnight, potentially revealing the cost of both versions of the upcoming console ahead of official word from Sony. Both images stem from El Corte Inglés, which is one of the biggest retailers in Spain. Pictures of the store's internal systems that appear to show entries for both the standard and digital versions of the PS5 were shared on messaging service Telegram, listing two prices of the console. According to both of these photos, one version of the PS5 will cost 499 euros, which equates to $594 or 460 pounds, while the other will cost 399 euros or $475 or 369 pounds. For those of you who happen to be in England, if you're listening to our show. The digital-only version of the console is very likely to be the cheaper version. So I was originally hearing $400 and $500, but this is saying more likely $475 to $5 and $6.
But the thing is that
now,
the Xbox actually, if you look at the prices that came out, it's the same price in euros and in dollars. It is 499 euro, $499. So just because and that all goes into how much it actually costs them to ship to those locations, things like that. So
right. Right, exactly. It's possible that these prices are the retailer's own placeholders for the console, but they line up precisely with similar leaks posted to Amazon France last month. What's more, they're very similar to the prices we're expecting to see at Sony's PS5 event tomorrow. Okay, so there is a PS5 event tomorrow. And with that reveal so close, it seems likely that retailers would have been informed about the console's official price. If these prices are accurate, it looks like Microsoft will have managed to undercut Sony pretty significantly. Both the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S come in around $100 cheaper than their counterparts. And while Sony is likely hoping that its library of games will help sway buyers, the inflated price tag could push several people towards the next generation Xbox. Now, the thing that Sony has going for it is the fact that it is completely backwards compatible with the PS4 games. So that's a big selling point for a lot of people that already have the PS4, still have their games, still want to be able to play those old games, and even or just pick up old games they haven't played yet. They can still buy them used. That is a big selling point. So a lot of people, that may be a thing that maybe saves them. Plus, PlayStation does have some pretty big exclusive, titles that people really love.
One of the other things though that the Xbox Series X is offering is if you buy the X, you're going to get 2 years of the Xbox service, whatever it's called, for free. That's thrown in when you buy the X. You get 2 years.
Oh well.
So
that's another how much
Game
it
Pass,
is. I think it's like
you get the Game Pass. That's $10 a month.
Yeah, I think for PlayStation it's something like $60 a year, which is pretty good. That's not bad at all. So I mean that $10 a month on the Xbox, it's saving you $250 roughly.
I signed up for Xbox Gold, which gets me Game Pass and the online stuff for Xbox, the ability to talk to friends, things like that. That I got that. I signed up for 2 years because I found out that if you go through like Costco, you can buy the code online and it's like almost half the price of what it is if you actually buy it through Xbox or through like Best Buy or someplace like that. You get a significant discount. Right. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can get like 2 years for like, I think it was like $110 or something like that, or $100. Like that's a big difference. I mean, that was a year and a half ago, so it's probably coming up, or a year ago. So that's coming up soon, or maybe in a year. But yeah, I love doing that where I can do it ahead of time and just not have to think about it. So yeah, to get 2 years of that and not have to worry about it for 2 years, that's a big thing.
Absolutely. So yeah, okay. So
but there is a PlayStation event tomorrow. Huh?
Yes, there is a PlayStation event tomorrow. So is something that we will have to check up on. We'll look into that and
It's,
hopefully
at
we'll
4
report
p.m.
on it.
Eastern time, so I will have to mark my calendar for that.
Now, keep an eye on the Nerds with Alcohol Facebook page for, I'm sure we'll probably have some updates. What else you got?
Well, just something that I saw that I thought was kind of funny, and I only saw it when I was out, so I didn't really hear it real well, but I saw that Ryan Reynolds is narrating a Hugh Jackman coffee commercial. And it's funny as fucking hell. It really is. I want to watch it again. If you just search for it, you can find it pretty easily. Just look for Ryan Reynolds narrates Hugh Jackman coffee.
Ryan Reynolds, that guy has become quite the entrepreneur. I mean,
him and Hugh Jackman go back and forth all the time. I mean, it's that whole Wolverine Deadpool thing. And that he plays it up huge. And the whole thing where Hugh Jackman did a commercial where they each did a commercial for the other person's thing, and Ryan Reynolds did this super serious, sappy commercial for Hugh Jackman's coffee company, and Hugh Jackman, he's like, all right, well, let's see yours, and Hugh Jackman's like, no, I don't want to show it, because he did a commercial for Aviation Gin, and he's sitting there, he's just sitting there, he's like, Aviation Gin, they say it's good. I haven't had it. And he just sits there for a second, and he just knocks the bottle of gin over and it starts spilling everywhere, and he gets up and walks away.
I remember that. Well, Ryan Reynolds, I haven't seen it. I'll have to look it up. But, the guy's a hell of an entrepreneur these days. I mean, he sold his aviation gin company, for potentially like upwards of
$600 million,
almost $600 million after all said and done. And then now he's bought into this phone company. It's a cellular phone service or whatever. And it's like $30 a month. It's super cheap, and it's whatever. I don't know. But now he got Rick Moranis to be in a commercial. Rick Moranis hasn't been on camera in over 20 years. And he brings it's awesome. Look it up online. It's like he brings Rick Moranis out. He's just like, hey, I'm here. What am I doing? What am I supposed to be here? And Ryan Reynolds just looks at him and goes, I'm just a huge fan. And it's just like, like he's this fanboy. And then Moranis just looks at the camera and then does like a kind of a take at the camera and shrugs and just walks off. And it's like, it's just like fucking awesome. Really funny. And Rick Moranis is a great guy, but I'm sure it costs some money to get him to do that. So
I'm actually posting it on the Nerds page right now.
Oh, great. So I was seeing some posts that people were making about that they thought that maybe there would be potential PS5 shortages, production shortage. But apparently Sony has denied reports.
Mint Mobile.
What's that? Mint Mobile. Yes, Mint Mobile. They're saying that there was some idea that they were going to be short units, or they're going to be cutting back because of supply things. But apparently Sony has now denied reports that PS5 production was shorted due to chip constraints. You can find more information. Let's see here. We've not changed the number since the start. So they're saying it's still on schedule despite reports of CPU shortages.
Yeah, because that's what you don't want. People are already going to be trying to get their hands on a bunch of them and then throwing them on eBay. Because it's still going to be hard to find them when they first come out. Every time there's a new one that comes out, there's always a shortage because they never make enough. Or at least they don't ship enough when they when they actually first come out.
Right, exactly. They're saying that. I probably won't get one right away. I'll probably wait a few months, since I've got a bunch of games that I'm playing and still going to be playing and stuff. So I doubt that. Even though that it is backwards compatible and everything, like I said, I've got plenty of PS4 games that I still haven't even touched yet. That I'm sure will keep me going for another 6 to 8 months. Plus the games that I love to play that I'd like to go back to, and certain game like Fallout 76 that has improved so much in the past few months, and the old games like Fallout 4 and Skyrim that I still love to go back and play, and games like No Man's Sky, which has had a massive update and is a massively improved game that I haven't played yet, but I know I'm going to probably want to get into. So plenty of stuff for me to play over the next few months. It is going to be killing me that I haven't bought Avengers yet.
Dude,
I may just fucking go out and buy.
I watched.
Before the year's up.
So there's one guy that I follow on Twitch. He's actually a follower of ours too, but he posts every day. He's over in Manchester, England, and he posts. He's on Twitch every day, and normally he's doing like first person shooters, like Call of Duty, things like that. So I've watched him a little bit, and he's kind of cool. Him and his buddies, it's usually he's on with a bunch of his buddies, and they're all talking. And he really interacts with his listener or his viewers a lot. Just sits there and talks with them, and it's kind of cool. But I don't watch him a lot, but I did see the other day that he was playing Avengers, and I'm like, oh, I got to throw it on. I want to see what this looks like, and I got to say, it looks pretty impressive. It's kind of cool. He was just playing. He said he wasn't going to do the campaign streaming, but he'd get on and play with his buddies. And so it was like a 4-person. They were doing like 4-person missions and stuff, or 3 or 4-person missions. And it was Elastigirl, Hulk, and Iron Man, I think, were who they were playing.
I've heard that the first-person campaign is really great. I've heard the story is great, that it's fantastic. I've heard that as well that the characters, the add-on characters that they've got coming up are really cool. It's not just reskinning another character. Like they got She-Hulk coming, they got the female Hawkeye, Spider-Man coming up later next year. So they're adding, and it's not going to be, from what I understand too, it's not going to be just adding them into the multiplayer. It's going to be, they're going to add in story elements into the campaign for them. It's going to be like an ongoing kind of story that they keep adding to.
And it wasn't actually really Elastigirl. It was somebody like her, because Elastigirl's DC.
No, it's Kamala Khan. It's
is it Ms. Marvel?
Ms. Marvel.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't one that I actually recognized, but yeah. So one guy was playing her. The main guy that I was watching, he was playing her, and it was funny just watching him reach out and smack guys from 20 feet away.
Yeah, she's a metamorph. Basically, she's like a shapeshifter. Essentially, stretchy powers and shape-changing powers, but not quite as versatile as, like, say, Mr. Fantastic. She can grow and she can expand things and shrink down and stuff, but she's not quite like as elastic as Mr. Fantastic, it seems. So, but she's a really great character. So, what else you got?
That was most of what I had. I mean, the other thing was what you were watching today, and I don't know if we want to get into that now or not. The D&D. If you want, crit roll. If you want to do your stuff first, or if you want to talk about that.
Okay. We can talk about that afterwards. Let's get into some of this other stuff first. Big news was announced today that apparently, or today or yesterday, apparently they have revealed one of the new upcoming Marvel villains that they're going to be introducing in Ant-Man and the Wasp 3. Now, Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, they've also revealed that the character is going to get equal billing. So that's pretty awesome. It's not going to be just Ant-Man 3, it's Ant-Man and the Wasp. So pretty great. But they've just cast Jonathan Majors. There's the main actor from the new show Lovecraft Country, who's people are loving.
I've only watched the first episode, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm kind of like binge. I'm watching a lot of different things right now. So, also watched fourth episode of The Boys.
I'm in the middle of 3 right now.
Just keeps getting better and better. But anyway, so Jonathan Majors is going to be playing, from what they're saying, Kang the Conqueror. So that's a pretty big deal. Kang the Conqueror has a lot of history in the Marvel Universe. He is a time-traveling despot that comes from the future to conquer the 20th century. And he's fought the Avengers and the Fantastic Four many, many times over the years. And they've said that this is also could potentially be a way of introducing the character, and in so doing, not only introducing that character, but in so doing, introducing the Fantastic Four on some level. So apparently the director, Peyton Reed, of the Ant-Man films, who is going to be directing the third film, did have a story treatment for a potential Fantastic Four movie. He said that, I believe, from what they were saying, that he actually had an idea that would completely ignore their origins and just kind of jump in, and they reference their origins and stuff. But the Fantastic Four are fairly well established. A lot of people know where they got their powers, how they got their powers. So going into another origin story movie for them would be kind of, is that really necessary? So anyway, that's a big deal. It could potentially not only launch the Fantastic Four in the MCU, but it will also be setting up a pretty big villain that could have lasting effect in the rest of the Marvel.
Yeah, and what I was reading today was that we're probably going to see the Fantastic Four the first time. The speculation is we're going to see it in Doctor Strange 2. That's where we're going to see him. Yes.
The Multiverse of Madness.
Because
they've also said that we'll also see Spider-Man in that one too, which would make sense because Spider-Man is very tightly tied to the FF. Spider-Man appeared in very early issues of Fantastic Four. He has long been a good best friend of one of the best.
Yeah, they had a rivalry for a really long time, and
they did, but it was a
they were kind of frenemies.
Right. But now they're much more like, they're friends. Johnny roomed with Peter for a while.
Johnny helped him build the Spider-Man.
And then, yeah, he did. That's true. And Peter has been a member of the Fantastic Four and in different levels. In fact, he replaced Johnny Storm when they thought Johnny Storm had died. And so Spider-Man became part of the FF. They renamed the team the Future Foundation. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so it's a pretty big deal. It's a pretty cool thing. And I think also casting a black actor for this role too would be really great too, since although the character has rarely been seen without his mask, it's kind of established that he's not African American. So casting an African American character or actor to play this role would be pretty cool too. Let's see. I did. There was a big. For those of you guys who might play Conan Exiles, there's a big expansion. There's a big expansion for the game coming up. It's actually loading. It's been loading today, and I just came home and saw it was updating on my Steam, and so it is like for free temporarily. Well, it's still in beta, I think, but it's loading up and it's available for play. And then, but it is a $18 expansion to the game. I don't play this game all the time, but every time I do play it, I end up obsessively playing it for like a week. Like, it is so much fun. The building aspect is one of the best parts. Excuse me. They have expanded it several times, so they keep just adding more and more like awesome different building stuff, and different things you can add to your compounds and temples and buildings and all kinds of really cool stuff. So you guys might want to check that out. That's Conan Exiles, Isle of Septa, and it's available on the PlayStation and on PC. I don't know if it's available on Xbox. I guess I could check that real quick, but it is a pretty awesome game. For those of you guys that get into like games like Minecraft and stuff like that, it's a really, really fantastic game because of all the building aspect. And you can actually purchase, you can buy Conan Exiles, which includes 2 items and the standard edition plus the new expansion for 49% off, which comes to $30.58. Now, I don't know if it actually includes all the other stuff, like the Argos pack and the Hyboria pack and some of the other additional things. But it's still pretty damn cool. And on top of it, it is a pretty adult game. It's not a game for kids. It's got a lot of adult element to it and everything. And it is also moddable. There's a lot of, particularly on the computer, there's a lot of like modding aspect to the game as well. So very fun game. And bloody as all get out. Holy smokes.
So we were talking about
yeah.
you were talking about the potential introduction of like the Fantastic Four, and we've also talked about the potential introduction of the X-Men and how they're going to go with that. And I remember when we talked a couple of weeks ago about the fact that it looks like Disney, well, having not officially made the announcement, it looks like they are going to go with Shuri as the new Black Panther for Black Panther 2.
Correct.
But
didn't we talk
yeah,
about this last week?
What I don't remember is if we talked about the fact that they're also saying that Beyonce has been cast for an undisclosed role in that film. And there are rumors that she will be Storm. And that they're going to bring Storm in. Which a lot of people have speculated that Black Panther would be the way to bring Storm in. But I like Beyonce. I like her as an actress. I don't like her as Storm. If that's who she's going to play, I'm not happy with that casting.
I'm absorbing it. I'm taking it in. I'm processing. This is processing. Beyonce is a hell of an entertainer. I do like Beyonce. I think she is quite a talent. My friend Lydia will often refer to her as a gift. She's a gift. She says it like that too. She's a gift. And Lydia has been on the show.
Renee asked if you needed to reboot.
Now, if it was Prince, do you need a reboot, Russ? I think Beyonce could do it. I think she probably could do it. But it is definitely, following in Halle Berry's shoes. That's a tough role. That's some big shoes to fill, and she did a hell of a job. So the interesting thing is the woman who played the Black Panther's mother. She was for years. Angela Bassett. People thought she would be the perfect Storm.
The perfect Storm. Yeah, I was just going to say, nice. I see what you did there.
Yeah, you like that? So, I don't know. I don't like to make judges on things like this right away. I feel like we learned our lesson when it came to casting, when it came to when Michael Keaton.
And that's the same thing.
He surprised everybody.
It's the same thing. I didn't think Michael Keaton had the look of Batman. I don't think Beyonce has the look of Storm.
It's like, once again, it's kind of that's a very difficult kind of role to try and fit somebody into a cartoon. Essentially, you're trying to fit a human into the image of a cartoon that's created, and that's idealized. I mean, Storm, when she was created back in the early 70s, I mean, she was originally created to look much more African, because she's an African goddess. She was supposed to have a kind of a big, like, afro, and she was meant to look much more ethnic, much more African. And the editors at the time were like, they just didn't feel like the audience would embrace her because she looked too black, honestly. And it's a really horrible thing to say, but it's the truth. And so they were like, well, we still want to make her black, and we still want to make her an African goddess. And they're like, well, let's make her hair long and white, and and straight, almost more like a white person's hair. Let's give her blue eyes, let's make her half white and half black. And it was just like, good Lord, is this really appropriate? But once again, this was the early, I think it was, what year did that?
1, I think.
71, something like that.
I just read them all, so
Giant Size X-Men #1 is where that she premiered. So I mean, we're talking about the comic book industry in the early 70s and or late 60s, early 70s. I mean, there was a lot of things they were doing. The interesting thing is soon after that, they introduced Luke Cage, and as their response to the blaxploitation movement.
And he was 73,
and Luke Cage was, and I think you're correct. Yes. So yeah, Black Panther came first, and then I think I just noted all of this stuff when I was at the Marvel exhibit at the Henry Ford, because it had the Falcon and Luke Cage and Black Panther, and they kind of had a lot of stuff about them and when they all came about. So, yeah.
So
anyway,
trying to find it when.
I think Luke Cage was actually right around my birthday, or right around my birth year.
I remember looking that up, actually. Oh, you know what? I can just look up Storm Marvel Comics. That'll tell me when her first appearance was. 75.
75, okay. So, 1975. Yeah, exactly. So, you've got, and then like I said, right around then, Luke Cage was debut date comic book.
72.
June
72.
This is really okay. So right around then, they were doing some really amazing stuff with. They were starting to develop these African American characters or these black characters, and like I said, particularly in response to, I mean, like I said, Luke Cage was a direct response to the blaxploitation film movement. You'd think that maybe, a black African character would be something, a female black African character would be something they'd want to have, particularly considering that the Black Panther had been around for roughly 10 years or so at that point. Might have been even more than that. I think he came out because the big Marvel movement came about in 61, and he came out. It was introduced in Fantastic Four fairly early.
July 66 was Black Panther's creation date.
Okay, so 5 years after
he first appeared in Fantastic Four 52.
Okay, right on. Yeah. So anyway, we're trying to squeeze an actress into this very distinct depiction. And I think that's one of the things why Halle Berry kind of fit the mold. She's beautiful, and she could very easily take on that. So a lot of the aspects and the characteristics that were intrinsic in form, And she had terrible scripts. She did a lot better. She was doing a lot better in the second film.
I'm sorry, dude.
Better in
the one I still can't get over is the first film with the, what happens to a toad when it gets struck by lightning?
Thing. That's so terrible. She easily had the worst line. It was terrible. So anyway, I could totally see Beyonce do it. She's really solid. She's an amazing actress, amazing performer. We haven't seen her act in quite a long time, but I mean, we'll see. I think that'd be pretty cool. So let's see. Let's move on. I just started playing a new game it was on sale on the Steam over the weekend, and I'd been meaning to buy this for my PlayStation actually for quite a while, but I kind of held off a little bit because it got some iffy reviews, but I was really, really kind of excited about the setting. It's called a game called Greedfall.
Okay.
Greed Fall, Greedfall, and it's a fantasy setting in an alternate world. And the interesting thing is instead of a medieval setting, It's more of a maybe a high Renaissance, say around the 1500s kind of setting, maybe a little bit later, and similar in the idea that like The Witcher kind of has more of a early Renaissance kind of setting as opposed to a medieval setting. Most fantasy setting games have kind of some bases in like a medieval kind of setting. If you look at the particularly the clothes that the peasants wear, the NPCs wear, they're very kind of medieval. The Witcher has a lot of Renaissance style to it. If you look at their armor and the various clothes that the NPCs and the people walking around and all that whatnot are wearing, it's very Renaissance. You look at the armor, the weapon design as well. In Greedfall, you're basically playing a guy that you're playing what's a legate basically of a prince who is your cousin is going to take over the management of the governorship of a city on an island that where they are hoping to find the cure for a plague, a mystic plague that is plaguing their hometown, their home city, in which would have been like maybe England or medieval or Renaissance Europe. There's it's beautiful. The game is very beautiful, and it's got this really great there's several factions. There's like a faction that is essentially the Christian Inquisition, and then you've got another faction that is basically like the Muslim countries, but they're all very much like science and alchemy related with some magic. And then and that's the thing, the Inquisition, it's like the Inquisition with magic. I mean, magic is very much accepted, but it depends on what kind of magic, and then your faction that you're part of is kind of in the middle of the two, and you've got made peace with both of these kind of competing countries. And then there's a fourth faction, which is the natives of this land, of this island that you're going to live on and whatnot. Now, the really cool thing about it, there's two things that I really enjoyed that really set it apart. There seems to be very little gender, traditional gender roles. There is you've got your matriarch and patriarch of the families and stuff like that. But the cool thing that I really liked is female sailors and male sailors just together, no big deal. Female members of the town guard right there with the male members of the town guard. You go to a town where because there's all of the factions have their own little towns on this island. So you go to the town where the Inquisition has set up, and the cardinal is a woman, the woman who's running this town. So, and it was just wow, that's really refreshing. And then the other thing too that was really cool is there's no racial bias or the countries aren't. It's not like you've got the evil brown country over here and the good white country. There's no distinction as to racially as to what country you belong in or whatnot. So you don't have the Muslim, brown people over here that you've got a war against and where you're the white character or whatever. It's very racially mixed. Everybody is it's this big melting pot. And I was wow, that's really, really refreshing in game design. And I thought that was worth noting, just this really kind of progressive kind of thing, particularly when we're seeing a lot of these role-playing games, particularly the tabletop ones, moving away from the idea of race as particularly an entire race of intrinsically evil people as a enemy group, Now that Dungeons and Dragons is making changes to the orcs and to the drow elves and stuff. So I found that to be very kind of interesting that they're running with that. So not bad, kind of cool. But the game itself is really cool. You've got the only problem I'm experiencing is, I said, I'm playing on mouse and keyboarding it. So there's a lot of, especially during combat, there's a lot of keystrokes to use for different things. So you've got your attack and parry on your mouse, but then on the keyboard you've got casting a spell, and you can do quick keys for it, but then you got to remember which keys you've got. got casting a spell, you've got shooting a flintlock, you've got a lot of different things to do when it comes to this game. So I recommend checking it out. It's a really cool game. Like I said, it ran on Steam over the weekend. It might still be on sale for about $24. I think you can get it for like $40 maybe on the PlayStation now for the disc. And it's once again a beautiful game. It's a really, really beautiful game. So yeah, so check that out. Greedfall. The other thing I would say is I think it might have been made by a European company, and there are times when the dialogue doesn't seem to quite match up with the facial movements. It does, but it's almost like whoever did the programming maybe spoke English as a second language. So it's like the voices are obviously, English or in English, but sometimes it feels like the faces don't quite match up. And it does seem to me that they recycle a lot of facial structure often. I've seen the same face with maybe just slightly different facial hair a few different times. So, which it's, that's just whatever. But the cities are beautiful. The forest areas, all the environment is really, really beautiful.
Cool.
It's pretty cool. So
yep.
Check it out.
Looks like we might be having some upload issues. People are saying that it's buffering on them.
Yeah.
Which sucks. It's not the computer this time. I'm watching the computer stats here, and that all looks great. And I'm seeing the uploads, but I don't know what I'm actually looking at there for upload speeds. I don't know what they should be. I see Skype looks good. It's the actual streaming program that looks like it's low. So
yeah.
And Skype may be eating up all the bandwidth. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I need to see if I can set some priorities, do some QoS on my network.
Right. So I saw another while I got it in my brain. I also saw a rumor. Now this is just a rumor, but I saw a rumor that Paramount may be talking to Will Smith for a potential Star Trek role.
Star Trek role?
Yes, that's apparently Paramount is talking to Will Smith. Now I haven't heard anything else really about it. It's just like a quick kind of blurb, real quick. I saw on the internet yesterday. But it could be for the potential Star Trek 4 within the universe set up with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto.
I didn't know they were doing it. I thought they were done with that.
No, Chris Pine has said recently that he's ready to get started, and then that he wants to go back.
Oh, cool! I'd love to see more of those because I really enjoyed that cast.
They haven't completely shelved it. It's just been like they set it on the back burner for a while, and Paramount's been concentrating more on the TV shows. So we should see. I also saw a thing too, apparently Will Wheaton really wants Wesley Crusher to show up on Lower Decks.
I saw that. Did you see the thing where somebody tweeted out saying that, and someone said, well, the main guy pretty much is Will Wheaton anyway, and they're like, the purple-haired dude? No, come on. He's a doofus, and and Will could. Well, maybe he could. Okay.
Well, the funny thing is Wesley would be a lot older at this point. Wesley would probably be, more like in his 30s at that point. So, he'd either. The question was how to work him in, because they were like, well, he should be out traveling out in space with the Traveler at this point. And the thing is no. I mean, he actually showed up, I think, at Deanna and Riker's wedding in Insurrection. He was in a dress uniform. So, I don't know. We'll see. I think that would be really fucking great. I would love to see that. There was another thing real quick I wanted to talk to about before I got into some other quick hits. Over the weekend, it was the first weekend of the Festival on Parade at the Michigan Renaissance Festival ground. They tried a drive-through experience where you drove through. You could drive through the grounds and drive through a certain area of the grounds and experience kind of an in-your-car Renaissance festival. There was a number of vendors set up where they would come to your car and they could buy things, and it was largely for the food. you would go through and then you could order and buy some of the food, a lot of the food that was available at Ren Fair, such as the turkey legs and some of the other things. Unfortunately, this happened on Saturday, and unfortunately, there were a lot of delays. There were a lot of problems. People ended up staying in, or they were in their car and in the line for upwards to 3 to 4 hours. Wow. There were a lot of complaints about it. There were people that were really upset, and there were people about it talked about how it was just not. It was not well planned. I don't know. I wasn't there, but then there were some other people that actually were very encouraging and very often, really thought it was awesome. So I don't know. I am still kind of like, I don't know. This looks great. This doesn't look good, but they ended up canceling it the next day because of rain, or that it had rained the night before. And as we know, anybody that's been to the Renaissance Festival in Michigan, anytime it rains for any amount of time. Hi, Stella. You're on camera.
Hi, Stella.
You want to wish him a happy birthday?
Happy birthday. Yes, I did.
Did you hear that?
Thank you.
All right. So anybody that has been to the festival knows that if it rains at all the night before, it's going to be a swamp the next day. So they did end up canceling it. I'm hoping that, they're going to do it again this weekend. I hope it's successful. If they can work it out, that's great. But I got to admit, there's a certain level, knowing the grounds the way I do and knowing the way that the way things are, I'm kind of skeptical, but who knows? Let's see. I had a bunch of quick hits that I kind of wanted to hit real quick. Just various different like quick news. Apparently, Borat 2 has reportedly finished filming. Not sure. The Borat sequel, you got to admit, that movie made a lot of noise. It got Golden Globe and Oscar
I never saw
nominations.
It. So
I think it actually won some Golden Globes, too. It did win Golden Globes. Sequel to 06's Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious Nation of Kazakhstan, or simply Borat, has reportedly already been filmed and screened by star Sacha Baron Cohen. That, according to Collider, which is reporting that Borat 2 stars Cohen as the same Kazakh journalist from the original movie, but this time the fictional TV personality needs to conceal his identity while interviewing unsuspecting people. According to one source, Borat 2 sees Cohen playing Borat playing Cohen. But another source subsequently reached out to the publication and refuted that description. Plot details are thin at the moment, and so is information about the cast and crew. The controversial original Borat was directed by Larry Charles, with Cohen and Jay Roach producing. It hasn't been revealed just yet if any of those key members of Borat's production beyond Cohen himself will be returning. Plans for a Borat sequel have existed since the ancient days in internet time of 07, and yet we still don't have an official announcement. That said, if Borat 2 has already been filmed and been shown to a limited audience, a release date might be right around the corner. And indeed, it is said by some, quote unquote, that it could be released before the November election in an effort to sway young voters. There's also a good chance it winds up at one of the big streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu. After all, Cohen's show, Who is America, was announced on June 29th of 2018 and released just over 2 weeks later on July 15th on Showtime. Perhaps another surprise release is incoming. So, all right, why not? Let's see, the Eternals. The Eternals has gotten, they do have a release date for the Eternals. It's set to arrive February 12th, 21. There's a lot of big talk about it and everything, but they're also talking that they're potentially preparing to delay Black Widow again. Black Widow has been delayed. They were supposed to come out in May. They've delayed it to early November. And they're also saying that potentially it could be delayed again. It sounds like Disney is prepping for another Black Widow delay. The Marvel movie was originally set to release in May, but it was delayed to November due to the ongoing pandemic. According to a Variety report, multiple people with knowledge of the situation say Disney is likely, quote unquote, to delay Black Widow again. This comes as the movie theater industry continues to grapple with state and local guidelines designed to curb the spread of coronavirus. Even if theaters are permitted to open in certain areas, not even a new Marvel epic is likely to generate ticket sales like it would in a post-pandemic world. Just a few days ago, another hotly anticipated superhero movie was delayed. Wonder Woman 1984.
And it's almost like you don't talk once a week for a couple hours. It just
it's been apparently moved from its original October 2nd release date to now premiere on Christmas Day this year.
Merry Christmas to us.
Pretty much a bummer. Hot on the heels of the first Black Widow delay, our sister publication, let's see, Total Film, blah, blah, blah. I think, yeah. So they definitely want to release that movie, though, before they release the Eternals, because there are some big story points that are hit on in the Eternals that lead up through Phase 4 and are the start of Phase 4. So it's kind of a big deal. They're saying that in the new Eternals movie, too, to go back to the Eternals, you're going to have some pretty big cast members, of course, and some big kinds of like story elements, big deal. You've got one of the actress that played Minerva in Captain Marvel is going to be playing the character of Cersei. You've got, of course, Angelina Jolie playing the Athena. Richard Madden will step into the role of Icarus. Kumail Nanjiani is Kingo, a master swordsman, and Bollywood film star Brian Terry Henry is the inventor Fastos. Don Lee is Gilgamesh, and Barry Keoghan is Druig. So they've got some characters that a lot of people outside of big Marvel fans have probably never even heard of. So this is going to be a big deal. But yeah, the character Minerva, Gemma Chan, who played Minerva, she was a blue-skinned Kree in Captain Marvel's like squad. That she was like Marvel's squad. She's going to be playing Cersei. It's one of the first times a character or an actor is going to be playing multiple roles within the MCU. Also, Salma Hayek will be playing Ajak, and Kit Harington will be playing the Black Knight. Okay. I'm really looking forward to this. I think it looks.
Kit Harington's just going to put his Night Watch cloak on and be the Black Knight. I mean, that's
be the Black Knight. Exactly. Let's see. I've had some other quick hits here. The Dune trailer. I don't know if you guys saw it, but the Dune trailer
I posted it on the Nerds Facebook page. Yeah, it looks pretty fucking amazing.
Right. I think it came out the day after our show last week, so we didn't get to talk about it. I remember in the trailer there actually is the part where Paul Atreides puts his hand in the pain box, and it's a pretty cool thing. Timothée Chalamet looks pretty good as Paul Atreides. He looks a little younger, I think, than the original movie, but
he looks like a teen, which is what I think Paul was supposed to be.
I think he was supposed to be, because the first movie takes place over a few years. It's supposed to take place over a few years. So yeah,
I didn't realize Momoa was in it.
Yeah, Momoa is in it. He plays Duncan Idaho,
Duncan,
if I remember correctly. So,
and I recognized who was really Gurney great. Too.
Dave
and Bautista.
Yeah. Well, Dave Bautista, he plays the Baron, he plays the Raban. Raban Harkonnen. It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge, and I feel like this is the beginning of a new franchise. So it looks pretty cool. Zendaya is in it. A bearded Oscar Isaac. Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin, I believe, is playing.
Yes, that's who it is. It's Josh Brolin playing Gurney. Because I was looking up to see who was playing Patrick Stewart's role, and yeah, he's Gurney. So yeah, he's Josh Brolin has got his role.
Yeah. Javier Bardem. I mean, it's a big fucking.
Oh, and what's his name?
Big deal.
What's his name is playing Baron Harkonnen. The guy from Thor. I think it is, isn't it? The doctor. Yes.
Dr. Selvig.
I can't think of the actor's name right now.
It's okay. We all know who you're talking about.
Dr. Selvig from Thor.
It's fine. Dr. Selvig from Thor. But they're also saying that although the movie is set for worldwide release on the December 18th, there is talk that it could possibly be delayed as well, even that far in advance. So we shall see. Let's see. We had a death in this week, just the other day. Dame Diana Rigg,
still in
best known
Skarsgård
for Game of Thrones. And Skellen Skarsgård, yeah. But his sons are the Skarsgård sons, the brothers. Yes, Diana Rigg, who was in the James Bond movie, Her Majesty's Secret Service. She was also in Game of Thrones. She was the head of House. What was it? She was one of the big. She was the older lady, the elderly lady that basically ended up killing.
Yeah, she was the head of the one that ended up the flowers.
House. Yeah, they were the big.
They were the agriculture.
Like
it was Marjorie Tyrells. The Tyrells.
The Tyrells. Yeah, and she was also. I mean, she played Emma Peel in the TV series The Avengers from '65 to '68. But yeah, she passed away. She was also in Jim Henson's The Great Muppet Caper. She had a big role in that. This dame. Yep. She was a dame, which is the equivalent of a sir, but for a lady. And so she will be missed. Diana Rigg. She was amazing.
She was my favorite character.
Fantastic.
My drink's broken.
So apparently, Scream 5 is in production. Scream 5 has added a very familiar face. Neve Campbell will return as Sidney Prescott, a character who has appeared in every Scream movie to date. So they will be bringing back. I hadn't heard that they were even remaking or making a new Scream. The actor joins David Arquette, Courtney Cox, and Ghostface actor Roger L. Jackson as returning players for the new horror movie. Bleeding Cool reports that multiple newcomers have also joined the Scream 5 cast, including Dylan Minnette from 13 Reasons Why, Mason Gooding from Love, Victor, Kyle Gallner from Nightmare on Elm Street, Jasmine Savoy Brown, The Leftovers, and Mikey Madison, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Jack Quaid from The Boys has also reportedly joined the slasher. Jack Quaid is getting a lot of work these days between The Boys and Lower Decks, and now this. I mean, he's a rising star, which is saying something. I mean, he's got some serious pedigree. You know, his father is Dennis Quaid, his mom is Meg Ryan. I mean, that's some serious pedigree there. At
least in the rom-com
they've released some stuff. Apparently, the new Avatar sequel, the filming is moving forward. The sequel, they've set out some set photos that show Sigourney Weaver stunting underwater. They're doing mocap, underwater mocap. That's pretty incredible. So, yeah. Weaver is playing a brand new character in James Cameron's sequels, which was announced all the way back in 2014. Dr. Grace Augustine looked to be a goner in the original 2009 movie when she was shot in the chest during an escape on the planet Pandora. That is until Jake Sully helped her to get to the Tree of Souls, where the Na'vi transferred her consciousness into an avatar body. We don't really know anything about how Grace or Weaver fit in the sequels, of which there are 5 in total. Though filming began on both Avatar 2 and 3 in New Zealand in 2019. Since the shoot began, we've had a handful of fun set photos, so there's plenty to speculate about at least. So, I
question why we need 5 fucking sequels to Avatar, but...
Well, it says Avatar 2 is scheduled for release in December of 2022. So we're still quite a ways, and we're more than a year away.
In all honesty, I question why we need it. And a sequel.
I'd be down to see a sequel. I enjoyed the film a great deal. I have plenty of questions. I'd be down to see a sequel.
I like the film to an extent, but the constant being hit over the head with the environmental 2x4 and how humans exploit the planet, which isn't wrong. I'm just saying it was a 2x4 over the head continuously through the entire movie.
Yeah, it's a little, but still, I mean, like I said, I had a great time and it was fun, and it's one of the highest. It is one of the highest grossing films of all time. So I think the only thing that's topped it out was the Avengers. It was one of the was what Infinity War,
Endgame,
Endgame. I think it was
Infinity
Endgame.
War.
Yeah, one of the two. Another quick hit here: Cobra Kai season 3 release date. The show season 3 has finished filming.
Oh, okay.
And there's confirmed that the Cobra Kai season 3 will come out in 21, but they have not revealed exactly when. Now, apparently, Cobra Kai is trending high on Netflix right now. People are loving it. They're saying really good things. I haven't watched it myself yet, but it's definitely high on my list to watch. I've always been a fan of the Karate Kid movies, and they've said that this new a bunch of my friends have been like, "Oh my God, Cobra Kai is so good." I think one of my friends compared it to Shakespeare. I was like, "What?" So
that's a stretch.
It's a bit of a stretch. It's just a stretch. So, but they're saying really good things. The fact that it's reviving the careers of some of these actors and stuff. Like, I mean, Ralph Macchio is getting a lot more screen time again. So I'm looking forward to that. I think we're going to see some pretty fun stuff out of that show. Wonder Woman delayed till Christmas. Candyman, the Candyman remake, has been also delayed to 21. I don't know if you've seen the trailer, but it looks pretty fucking cool. Candyman was already a pretty good, creepy movie, but this. Oh yeah, as a horror film, it's really good.
Well, see, that's the thing. I'm not huge into horror. One of the reasons that I'm watching Lovecraft Country is because I actually do like Lovecraft's mythos. I think it's kind of cool, and the whole crazy aspect of it, and the fact that it, all this stuff drives you insane. And just some of the creatures he created were just also insane. And I kind of want to see it for that aspect, but I'm not a huge horror guy. I don't do a lot of horror movies.
Well, I'm not a big horror guy either, but I do have a certain kind of affection for them on some levels, and so I really
growing up, it was always the slasher movies. I mean, I watched all the Jason movies growing up, all the Freddy movies. Yeah,
sure, we all did. Everybody.
I mean, the geyser o' blood coming out of the bed when Freddy pulls Johnny Depp down into the bed, and just that geyser comes up, and it's like, okay, that is like 100 human bodies worth of blood that just spouted up.
Right, it was ridiculous, But yeah, Jordan Peele is a producer.
What a surprise!
It's terrible, and it's still in the other room. So anyway, Jordan Peele is a producer and a co-writer on the film, so it's going to be pretty fucking awesome. They've also the lead actor is the actor who played Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen TV show, and he was also in Aquaman. He's the same actor who also played Black Manta. So yeah, it could be. They're saying some really awesome things. So it could be, but it could look in like maybe 21 before we see that. They are also we already talked about that. Wait a second.
Closing all the tabs on your.
Yep, pretty much. Let's see. This is talked about that. Let's see. We talked about. Talked about that. Okay, so here's another thing. Apparently, the Flash movie that they're talking about, the new Flash movie, they're saying that it restarts, quote unquote, everything in the DCEU. Teases the producer. It's going to be fun and exciting, and there are lots of DC characters in it. I mean, they've already said that Affleck is coming back as his version of the Batman. Now, they've also talked about it will be featuring two Batman, Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck.
They're saying they're doing Flashpoint.
Well, right. Well, or a multiverse of possibilities is what they're saying. So it's going to be to the point where taking cues from the Flashpoint comics could restart everything within the DC universe. So who knows? We could see some massive rebooting of the DCEU, which it could probably use. It could use. Could they bring back Henry Cavill's Superman? Why not Brandon Routh's Superman? After all, the actor did return for the TV events Crisis on Infinite Earths, which seemed now like a precursor to The Flash. Yeah, one character who looks set to return to the movie, due to be directed by Andy Muschietti, is Ray Fisher's Cyborg. The actor has reportedly entered into talks with Warner Brothers about reprising the role, which is also surprising considering that he has been very vocal
don't make him say
how that and about how toxic apparently the set was, the Joss Whedon Justice League set was. The Joss Whedon run set. Unfortunately, as much as I like Joss Whedon, apparently he was kind of an asshole on that set. I think the DCEU is going to get a big injection of new energy in the Flash movie. I'm looking forward to the Snyder Cut. In fact, one of the guys at work was asking me about how excited I am for it. I said I'm about a 7 out of 10, maybe 7.5. I'm excited for that. As much as I didn't hate the Joss Whedon version, and I wasn't the biggest fan of Zack Snyder's dark kind of take on the DC universe. I do feel like we need to see his version of Justice League, and the fact that it's going to be 4 hours long. I think it's going to be.
Speaking of Justice League and stuff, I got to tell you, last Friday, one of the things that Renee and I did, we went over to a friend's house. We were supposed to go over. We're going to do like a fire, and he's got a projector and stuff, and we're going to do a movie outside, that type of thing, so we could still socially distance, but hang out and all this. So Renee and I went over there. Rather than watching a movie, he pulled up his Prime and started just flipping through stuff, and came across like a thing about commercials of the 80s or something like that. And it was all like the Saturday morning commercials. It was the toy commercials. And it's all a bunch of He-Man commercials, and all of us are sitting there going, I had that. Oh, my brother had that. I had that. And a couple of them were the Justice League toys from back in the 80s. And a lot of them I'm looking at, I'm like, I don't remember those. Like, I don't remember them having Parademon toys back then. And they're showing them, and they're like flying around. And I'm like, I don't remember that at all.
It was pretty great. I remember I remember all that stuff. It was great.
But it was kind of fun.
Awesome.
It was a half an hour of commercials from way back in the day.
There's a great the friend of the show, Ed Rohn, was telling me about this great YouTube channel called Toy Galaxy, and the guy does like these 10 to 20 minute episodes, basically talking about toys and cartoons and things that we from the 80s that we people in our millennial generation or Generation X generation grew up watching and stuff. And so he does some really great stuff, talking about He-Man and the Thundercats and Silverhawks and Transformers and Gatchaman and and he goes some pretty deep dives.
Call it what it's supposed to be called: cartoons. Battle of the Planets, not Gatchaman.
Battle of the Planets, exactly. But he does some really, I highly recommend checking that out. He talks about not just cartoons too. Like he does 15 minutes on the Incredible Hulk. He does stuff about Black Star.
I remember Black Star.
Remember that?
I love Black Star.
It's kind of a precursor to He-Man. There was the Micronauts. He does a whole show about 20 minutes on the Micronauts toy line. The Turbo Teen cartoon, if you remember Turbo Teen, it's about the kid that turned into a
I don't remember that one.
Turned into a car. The stuff about the Animorphs. The European version of G.I. Joe, which is called Action Force. The Dinosaucers. But then he goes into, he's also a big toy collector, and so he talks about not just the classic toys but current toys as well. So some really cool stuff. I was watching it. I had it running while I was gaming and stuff, and I was like, wow, this is really, really kind of cool. Like a real cool trip down memory lane. Like I said, he went into about the Incredible Hulk, about the show called Street Hawk, which was kind of like a version of Knight Rider, but the guy was on a motorcycle. And do you remember Automan? Yeah, he talked about that show, which was at the time one of the most expensive television shows that was being produced. And then there was also
I'm gonna have to look this show up. I'm gonna put it on my list.
Yeah, Toy Galaxy. It's on just on YouTube.
No, I'm looking at the one that CD posted in there about it's the toys that made us.
Oh yeah, that's on Netflix. That's pretty cool too. I've seen some of those. Yeah. I'm putting that on my watch list. Some fun stuff. All right, so it's getting late. So I wanted to touch on something real quick before we go. And this has to do with, something, of course, that we are all very big fans of. We've talked about it many, many times, is Critical Role. And I'm getting caught up on the show.
You just watched episode 93, obviously, from the reaction I got from you today.
This was from February of this year. And for those of you that watch the show or watch Critical Role and that are caught up and everything, Laura Bailey won.
Yeah, we didn't know that you could win D&D. They've always said there really isn't a way to win D&D. Laura Bailey proved that wrong.
No. She did by defeating and essentially, hey, Dresden. Sorry, guys, the dog. By defeating a bog
green hag
or whatever, green hag or whatever, and lifting the curse on Knot so that Knot could be transformed into her original form with a cupcake. A motherfucking cupcake. I couldn't believe it. I had it. I was listening to it while I was at work. I had to pause. I had to walk away. I can't believe it. She used a special kind of powder.
The dust of deliciousness.
Basically gave this green.
Which was some throwaway magic item that Matt gave them back in the single-digit episodes.
Oh yeah, I mean they've been hanging. She said she'd been hanging on to it for a long time, and stupid dog. And she
watch them in spurts.
What it did is if somebody consumed it, it gave them disadvantage on will checks, and then she cast memory manipulation or whatever it is, and to change her memory so that she would think that Jester was just so entertaining.
The cupcake was so good
that the cupcake was so good that she would just you know what, you caught me on a good day.
I'll go ahead and
I'll go ahead and take that. I'll take care of that for you. And you could see in Matt Mercer's face, he's like, I cannot believe that this just happened. There's so many times. There's a number of times you can see where the show went in the opposite direction of what he thought it was going to do. Where he's got combat planned in case of this. He's got all kinds of different plans. And then Laura Bailey threw an entire monkey in the wrench. Monkey in the wrench. And a huge monkey wrench into the plans. And he just went, okay, because the character failed their save.
Yeah, I think he had this huge combat ready for them for that with her.
Yeah. Because they had found out that if they killed her, that would remove the curse as well. So, and you could see the players.
They were getting ready,
and then Jester runs. Yeah, and she all was making it out like she was going to sacrifice her hands. She was going to cut off her hands.
Well, yeah,
for Jester.
I really like for my hand. Before you take my hands, would you just? I've had this cupcake. Just go share this.
Why don't we share a cupcake? And they did, and it was just like, what the fuck? And it was just so funny because she's like, oh, by the way, that's got the dust of deliciousness on it, and she had to remind him
what does that do again?
Yeah, and then oh my god, it was so genius. It was really good. I was impressed. I was just like, I mean, and I've been in games before where something particularly wonky happened or weird happened and they didn't expect it, but I don't think I've ever seen something quite so creatively done, because that's the thing. I mean, she went in there and I mean she didn't tell anybody that she was going to do this. I mean, she made it all, she conned that woman. I got to know, I mean, did she plan it ahead of time? Was she just looking over her character? She had to have. She could have been just like looking over her character sheet and went, if I do this, maybe if I do that, maybe, I mean, because it was a long shot. It really was a long shot. That's actually a higher level spell. So that's not a bullshit spell. But it's definitely a higher level spell. And it was going to be a harder save to make. But still, the fact that it was a because that creature had advantage on spells that affected the mind. So the dust of deliciousness basically just took away the advantage by making it an even roll. And then Matt rolled a 2. And it was just like, holy shit. Fucking awesome. So bravo, Laura Bailey.
As Renee said, Marisha was going to give up everything. Bo was going to give up everything.
Yeah.
And Marisha was trying to deal with the fact that she was going to have to create a new character and lose Bo. And then Laura freaking Bailey.
Laura fucking Bailey, man. It was like, that was nuts, man. Yep. Yeah. Because that you could see it. And at first when I saw her do that, I went, man, that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like for her to like make, I mean, it was kind of cool that she would maybe sacrifice her character for not, but at the same time I was kind of like, man, no, man, why? No, that you fucking fight her before you do shit like that,
But she was showing what Bo would do.
Yeah. Sure. And Laura freaking Bailey. So bravo, Laura. Thank you for showing me one of the best moments of D&D I've ever seen.
Yep.
And like, it was incredible. It really was. So guys, we talk about Critical Role a lot. If you aren't watching Critical Role, if you're a gamer, you definitely need to be watching it. If you're not a gamer, you should check it out anyway, man.
If you want to see something that is nothing like Critical Role, you can watch us this Friday night doing Tavern Nights.
That's right. Tavern Nights this Friday night, guys. So you can check out episodes 1 in 3 parts.
Episode 1 and 2. No, episode 1 in 2 parts. Episode 2 in 3 parts. The third part will be out. Should be out tomorrow. Parts.
Yeah, my bad. So yeah, and it should be out tomorrow. So you can check that out, and then you can and then we'll tune in
7 o'clock on Friday.
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock on Friday night. We'll be playing the game. If you can't tune in, we understand. It is a long time to sit and watch a bunch of people play D&D.
But if you can't, catch us on YouTube.
You can catch us on YouTube later on. Exactly.
And if you're on YouTube, please give us a like and a subscribe, and because that'll help us out there too.
And if you're on Twitch, even if you can't stay for the whole time, we really could use some more of those lovely followers, because we could really use some more. We're trying to get to that that affiliate level. That'd be really great.
Yep, we need 21 more followers.
That would be cool. So I don't know. I think that's about it. I got. Is because CD, I'd rather do that easier than catching up on 500 hours.
Yeah.
You're right. It is kind of a kind of intimidating thing. Critical Role, like I started with the first campaign, and I got to admit, I was kind of like, wow, these shows are 3.5 to 5 hours long. Some of them even go a little longer than 5 hours on some of the big nights, and I mean, it's huge. Yeah, but I gotta admit, I loved it. I got into it. I have a kind of job where I can kind of listen to podcasts while I'm working, different things like that. I was able to really.
I'll watch them at lunch. So I watch an hour a day at lunch, and that actually let me catch up because I was watching 5 hours per week ish 5-ish hours per week. So most of the time I was able to catch up to the point where I actually got completely caught up and started going back to campaign 1, which I'm still not caught up on. Renee's actually gone back and started watching campaign 1.
Yeah, it's great. I really enjoyed campaign 1. I really enjoyed it. I'm enjoying this too. I think campaign 2 is great. It took me a little bit longer to get into these characters, largely because I think I just was so enamored of that Vox Machina. But I'm all in, man. I love the journey that Ford has taken. I love that I was like, I started seeing some fan art for Veth for not as her in her true form, and I was like, holy shit, she's gonna get there. That's pretty awesome. And I really hope, though, I mean, I want to see the game progress all the way to, I hope they are able to level up, and retire at 20 or whatever. And I would hate to see them retire the characters early, just because they've been doing it for 2 years now, or whatever. And
they've been doing the whole show for 5 years, so.
For 5 years, yeah. But that's the thing. I mean, they're making money. They're making a career. Their careers.
This is their job now. This is one of their jobs. They're still doing voice acting, but I mean, it's.
Well, they're content.
Yes.
They're content creators. I mean, they create internet content on top of
very successful
actors and directors and so. Right. So I don't foresee it ending. So yeah. Anyway, once again, we should wrap things up. It's getting late. I gotta take care of this mutt. And get something more to eat. Guys, be sure to check us out in all the places you can find quality podcasting. Thank you, Dresden. Thank you for the help. I appreciate it. Thank you, buddy. Guys, we are on iTunes. We're on the Google Play Store. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, radio.com. And, of course, you can download and stream all of our shows at our website at www.nerdswithalcoholshow.com, on top of also finding us on both YouTube and on Twitch at
And you can follow us on most of the social medias. We are on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We are on Twitter at Drinking Nerds and Instagram Drinking Nerds. And you can also find us on Untapped. Just search for Drinking Nerds and send us a friend request, and we'll get you added. But yeah, other than that, and like I said, we're going to be on Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, doing Tavern Nights. It's been a blast so far. We've done 2 episodes, and honestly, I'm having a blast with this whole thing. And I love I love the characters. I love the way you guys are playing them. Your comment about Lauka last week still has Renee laughing. Or 2 weeks ago about when she lost the diamond, and I mean, this is a little spoilery, but and then how you said and she went she got into a super deep depression, and you're like, yeah, she went through this before. She there was a pony that she
you wouldn't believe it. She had a pony when she was she wanted a pony for her when she was 12, and her father wouldn't give it to her, and she locked herself in her room for 3 weeks and did nothing but pout. It was terrible. Yeah, that was funny. I like the fact that the joke about her looking like Flava Flav if she was to wear a diamond like that on her. It was for those of you guys who haven't heard, one of our characters finds a diamond that's like a flat diamond that's like 6 inches across, and it's a magic item, and she just became so enamored of it, she wanted to turn it into a medallion, and it was just like, no. So anyway, but yeah, check us out, guys. It's been a lot of fun. We're having a great time. We're at the very beginning of the campaign. We actually came in at what level? Fifth level.
Yeah. Well,
came in at
level. You guys played up to 5th level, but we started actually streaming the podcast or the show at 5th level.
Right. So you guys can really getting into the meat of things. It is cool to see from the beginning, from 1st level, like we did with the new with the second campaign of Critical Role. But I think that really helped coming in a little bit later, coming in a little bit stronger. It's
kind of like the way that they came in the first season of Critical Role. They came in at like 8th or 9th level.
Yeah,
or the 6th level.
6th level.
Okay.
No, it's the 6th level.
Yeah, so you guys are right around that same area. So
exactly. So anyway, we should we should probably wrap it up before we go back into another tangent since we're approaching 2 hours. And thanks again, guys.
Thanks a lot for hanging out with us, everybody that was here in the
night.
chat room, and for being active in the chat room. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And happy birthday,
Thank you,
brother.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
And in
happy
in 7 minutes, I will actually be 50 years old.
Well, all right then. Happy fucking birthday, and make sure that I'm Renee. You've already made his birthday a good one. It's up to you to make the rest of it a great
it was a great one starting this morning. So.
Hey! All right. What I like to hear. All right.
So I think that's gonna do it.
On that note.
and on that note. Until next time.
Until next.
Slancha.
Slancha.
Oh, not so great. Here. There we go. I guess that'll work. All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.